Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. We're going to turn the cam off for a little bit because I still got some food to eat. But I'm just looking here. Is my chart still loading? Huh? Looks like we're a little lower today. We're below 120. I actually think we might see some buying coming in today, but we are outside of yesterday, right? Now it's an inside day, but I mean we're below where the main action was, so we'll see. Let's refresh this and grab the links and everything. Yep, I can already see we got a good number of people coming in today, so good morning. I have a bunch to yap about, but you just give me a few minutes, all right? Well, if this comes back and fills me, I think I'm only taking one on it because I shouldn't do that. Okay. Looks like Bitcoin is ready to dive again. Oh, there was a pretty big move last night. We're already back to 6,000 almost? Well, snap. I mean, that did not take much at all, did it? How does that make the 6-hour chart look? Let's pull it out over here. So let's do more of our analysis. Let's pull up the data mesh too. Okay, so on a 6-hour chart, it's pretty ugly. In fact, on a 6-hour chart, that's one of the strongest moves we've seen. We didn't get above that 7,500 is pretty bad. Well, I'm on a pretty good short if, you know, I had actually been able to take short, but... Okay. So that's Bitcoin. Here in Treasuries, we're in an inside day, but they are buying it pretty strongly here on the open. So I would say... I think we can move up, and I think that these nudes headlines are definitely the reason. Also, things don't seem to be going so well with Canada and the whole trade deal thing, so that's probably playing a part too. But they definitely bought it. There is a huge run up in cumulative delta in the 30-year. And you can see the way that the level 2 just really stacked up there. So, yeah, there they go, they take it. So if they come up to the top and maybe they range around a little bit, or maybe they even come back to the VWAP and we could take it again. But... unfortunately, we did not get filled, did we? And what about the E-mini? Well, the E-mini looks like it's recovering. I mean, yesterday it kind of turned around a little bit. This morning it looks like they're poised to continue that, but we can't know for sure until it goes. JPY is moving up a little bit. Euro, same. Okay. So should we talk about? Oh wait. There we go. Oh, and the data mesh. I see longs and shorts line up, so that's bad. We don't want to see longs buying into it because that just means they're gonna get blown out. Let's look at the last 7 days. Okay, well it's going up, but that's only because a lot of people got out. All right, come on. Oh jeez, I hate it when that happens. I have this program that will make the window transparent when you move it. Sometimes it's not able to turn it back. Oh yes, what news do we have too? Today is Thursday, so we do get our news right there. Let's just look at what it is. Okay, unemployment claims was good. Labor costs is a little bit down. Non-farm productivity is as expected. Whew. That could have been bad. I thought that I was about to get filled there. That's why I clicked it, but I didn't get filled. Would have been awesome if I was, though. Okay, so let's talk about this news. Yeah? So let me start by saying, let me take a drink here. In terms of political news, the first week of September is always a mess, because the first week of September is kind of when everybody comes back from summer and is getting into the groove of the business cycle again, and getting ready for the midterms. And so the it's kind of when everybody puts out their best propaganda. So that's why this Nike thing. Yeah, let's bring up the camera, by the way. Oops, there we go. That's why Nike released their thing with Colin Kaepernick this week, even though apparently they've had him signed for quite some time. That's why. Oh man, what else has happened? That's why the Woodward book is being released this week, or is hitting the news this week, right? It's all the timing, because it's the first week, people being back from summer. Okay, so this is always kind of a good week to kind of turn the TV off. Of course, we can't really do that because the news is important to our trading. So it's kind of, you kind of have to try and disconnect yourself from it a little bit, because it's all designed to get you worked up, and it's all emotional manipulation, right? And we need to be able to try and stay objective. So with that said, this news yesterday that a quote-unquote senior administration official wrote an op-ed in the New York Times claiming that he is part of the resistance inside of the Trump administration has me a little... I feel a little emotional about this. Like, it's just scary to me that somebody would be doing that inside of our administration, whether they agree with Donald Trump or not, because, I mean, it's just not okay, right? It's counter to the way democracy works, right? So, but here's I think this is a really big piece of news, and I think this could dominate action for months to come. And here's why. Here's the thing that I'm not seeing out there that I think is really significant and is thus important to markets. What this senior administration official claims, granted he doesn't give specifics, so it's kind of hard to know for sure, but the things that he say sound illegal to me. Very illegal. I mean, if the president is giving orders and you're intentionally subterfuging them, that could definitely be illegal. 100%, right? So there's going to be an investigation. And if there's an investigation, how do you investigate the actions of senior White House officials? Like, they're going to have to go into and dig into all of the White House's business. Like, if you're the Trump administration, that's not what you want, right? Because at the very least, they're going to find things unsavory about Donald Trump and leak it to the press or something of that nature. Although, what else could you leak now at this point? I kind of feel like they've already given everything out that they could. But having an investigation like that going on in the administration is a big deal. And I'm not hearing anything about it. But that is something potentially more disruptive and damaging than the Mueller investigation, right? Because now they really are they're not investigating Donald Trump himself, but at that point they are investigating all of the interactions that are going on inside of the White House to see if this guy, granted it's supposed to be like a friendly investigation to find somebody that's undermining the president, but you know that it's going to give opposition to the president ammunition. So I think it's a really big deal. Anyways, so that's kind of my thoughts on it right now. And the other thing that I will say is, in terms of who it is, my money is on Mnuchin, and I'll tell you why. Well, first let me shoot down some of the other ideas that I'm hearing out there. So one of them is, a lot of people really seem to think that it's Mike Pence because of the use of the word lodestar. Hey, Uzi. I don't think that that's enough evidence to convince me that it's Mike Pence. And Mike Pence has been pretty strong supporter, you know. He's been a really good vice president, and I don't see why he would jeopardize his future as as a potential presidential candidate afterwards. Yeah, we're talking about this. So in case you missed what I was just saying, Uzi, the thing that I think is important about this story that I'm not hearing out there is that the leaker, we'll call him, appears to be claiming to have done something illegal. Granted, he doesn't give enough details for us to know, because obviously he doesn't want us to know who he is, but it sounds like that his actions may have been potentially illegal. So I believe there will probably be an investigation off of the back of this, and if there is an investigation off the back of this, that's not good for the White House, because that means that they're going to have to look into and investigate all of the White House actions, and that's just like the worst thing that could possibly happen. I think. So I think it was a bad story. Anyways, I don't think that Mike Pence would jeopardize his future as a potential presidential nominee by writing an article like that. So I think that it's a wishful thinking on the part of some people that it's Mike Pence. I think that they just want it to be Mike Pence because that would be like the most disruptive thing possible. But it's probably not Mike Pence in my opinion. I've also, when I read the Donald Trump supporters subreddit, there's a lot of people, in fact, that don't think the story is real. They think that the New York Times just made it up. I personally think Trump orchestrated it to reassure the resistance. Trump knows who the leaker is. Trump approved its release. I mean, that's a theory. I can't think of anything that would possibly back that up. But the one thing though is the idea that it's just fake completely, like the New York Times made it up. Absolutely not. Because like it or not, and granted, the New York Times is an awful publication these days. It has a very big bias, but it has been traditionally one of the most reputable news sources in the United States. I mean, it has the most storied history of any publication in the United States. Well, they're absorbing right there, so that's your little break setup. But you can't take it in this situation because it's ranged way too much before going for the high. But I do think that they could move up a little bit, maybe test 035. Yeah. So if the New York Times was lying about it, it would be the end of their paper. I mean, straight up. Who would read? Everybody would cancel their subscriptions. Who would take them seriously after lying about something like that? You can't just turn around and say, "Oh, sorry guys, I was just kidding. It's all good now." No. Like, they just created a national security panic here. This is the end of the paper. So I don't think that it's fake. I do think you might be onto something there, Uzi, where there may be something about the story that makes it not what it seems. You know? Like maybe the senior member official is not as senior as the New York Times is leading us to believe. Maybe he's not a cabinet member, maybe he's just some low-level guy that doesn't really mean anything and hasn't done a whole lot. Right? Maybe they took what he said and embellished it a little bit. Something like that. In terms of Trump orchestrating it, I mean, if he did, then I would be mad if he did. Because it's like I've never seen people such in a panic over this. It's funny that this is the story that seems to unite Americans. Like everybody, whoever this leaker is, everybody hates him. Everybody hates him now. So, and everybody thinks that this is really bad for the country. Like this sort of thing shouldn't be happening, and it's not okay. So there's that. But here's why I think it's minutia. In the article, they reference things like calming the resistance during the confirmation hearing for the SCOTUS pick. I mean, I get that I'm sort of entertaining conspiracy, but like, but I don't think so, because I think that if you want the hearings to just go through standard and then just confirm him, right? So I don't think that you want to rock the boat during that time, you know? So I don't see why you would want to create that kind of chaos and distraction during the hearings. But I mean, maybe I don't think that this helps the chances of the hearings pass. But I digress. I think it's minutia. And the reason I think it's minutia is because in the article they kind of refer to things like he refers to the 25th Amendment. And the last time I remember hearing about the 25th Amendment, which is where the cabinet members can all sign off and say that the president is incapable of carrying out his duties. That was around the time that we were also hearing about the Suicide Pact. And the Suicide Pact was that if Mathis, Mnuchin, or who was it? Who was the Secretary of State before? I don't even remember his name. Tillerson. That they were saying that if any one of them got canned, that they would all leave. And there was supposedly a suicide pact, and Tillerson did pretty much get fired, but the other two didn't leave. Now Mathis, he's certainly seems to be critical of the president, according to anonymous sources. But he's held it pretty close to his chest. He's been a good soldier, and I think he's trying to do a good job for the administration. And an op-ed of this kind that just seems really self-serving, frankly, just doesn't seem in his character. So and Tillerson is already out, so it can't be him. So if it really was a member of the Suicide Pact, then it would have to be Mnuchin at that point. And the next piece is that the sorts of things that he talks about kind of sound like the stuff that they were talking about with trade war, where like people were like stealing papers from his desk so that he couldn't sign them and things like that. And the trade wars has kind of been the place where there's been the most friction, and that's Mnuchin's area. And so I think that the probability is that it is Mnuchin. That's what I would bet my money on if I found a way to bet money. And I would be betting against, I really don't think it's Pence. Did you know that Steve Mnuchin is a movie producer? Was he? I thought he worked for Goldman, is what I recall. Well, they made a new high there, and then the action since has not been terribly inspiring, but it's not. I mean, they've only come down a tick. I don't know. We should pop into, now that I'm done with my monologue here, we can keep talking about this. He produced Wonder Woman. Oh, really? That's interesting. I mean, Wonder Woman was a good movie. I liked it. I'm pretty sure, though, that he did work in Goldman Sachs at one point. I don't know, that just kind of makes me think that it's even more likely to be him, because that would be exactly the kind of thing that a Hollywood producer would do. Lots of movies. Interesting. Yeah, I'm actually surprised that the guy hasn't already been outed. I kind of thought that somebody would out it before the end of the night. I was already hearing whispers that a bunch of outlets knew who it was, but they couldn't confirm it. So I don't think that this guy is going to remain anonymous for very long. There's no way. And of course, they're not. The New York Times isn't going to give him up. I don't know what the president is thinking, tweeting about going in there and forcing them. That's silly. But I think that he's a little impulsive, you know. That's all. It's okay. It's just a person. He's probably... Here's another theory. If you want to get into conspiracy theories, here's my conspiracy theory. Okay. Donald Trump has ADHD. I'm almost certain that he has ADHD. Like, it all fits. And the tweeting is compulsive. And that's why when you see him tweet, he always tweets like the most, like... I don't want to say dumb thing, but it's always like the most egotistical, self-serving thing, you know? Like we should go in there, and that law enforcement should go in there and force the New York Times to give up their story. Well, that's what the natural man would say, you know, like that's your first thought when you're upset about something like that is like, well, they should give him up. But then after you sit and you think about it for a little bit and you talk to people and you look up what the laws around this and previous precedent is and everything, then you realize, oh, okay, that's not reasonable, right? So I think he's ADHD, and he has a temper, according to reports at least. He has a temper. People like him because he says what is on his mind, and that's what ADHD people do, is they say the things that most of us think twice about saying, and they say them because they just can't help it. Oh no, because they have ADHD, although I'm on medication. So like, I really think that he has ADHD, and that's why you get tweets like that. Well, let's pull up TweetDeck and see. So I just want to know, so if we assume that the whole story is real, they do have a source, it's not some trap set up by the administration or anything like that, who do you think it is? This is kind of that's the thing I think is most interesting right now, is who is it? And that's going to tell us a lot at that point, because depending on who it is, then we can look at what potential legal consequences are there. Like if it's Mathis, for instance, I don't think it would be him, but let's just say that it's Mathis. That's like a military thing. So if he was disobeying orders, that could be like a court martial, right? Maybe. I mean, I don't really know all of the details about something like this, but I think that's a definite possibility that we have to consider, right? This story's not just going to go away. This is going to be like the Mueller investigation. We're going to be hearing about it for the next year. Let's see here. What does John say? It feels oversold. Overnight low is one tick above yesterday's low and is rallying. I think we could trade higher. So his read was the same. Well, now that it's ranged so much, this is definitely going to be an alligator. So I'm a little wary of like going short into it. And they kind of messed with me before in this location, so I'm a little wary. This is the sort of thing that makes me paranoid, like that whoever market maker is watching me and saying, okay, let's go and screw Seth over now. Like, we went and touched the highs. That didn't excite him, so let's come down back into his alligator and see if we can just plow right through him. Okay. Only 6. See, this is why I didn't want to just sell into it, because what if they take back up again? Yeah. I want to get it filled first. Nope. That was a strong push down. Not a lot of interest in selling that, is there? Which is a little odd considering that it's a VWAP. There's usually really easy to get interest there. And there was a lot of volume there before. You know? Having trouble getting filled there is unusual. Man. Well, the 5-year came all the way back in cumulative delta. The 30-year didn't. It continuously steepening. We're at a turnaround point. It's still an inside day. We broke the overnight by 1 tick. And now we're back to the VWAP. They could do a VWAP bounce here because they're just not selling into it. But given the context, it'll suck if I buy it here and it works and it goes up to the high, of course. But I'm just looking for the alligator or crocodile or whatever we call it. We call it a crocodile, don't we? This is incredibly bizarre to me. Having this much trouble getting filled at the VWAP is just weird. Oh, you know what? We should jump in stream now. There we go. So we can hear people. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see it play out. Yep. Okay. I have to do this stop manually because well, there you go. It's a little better. Okay. 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 There's a flipping back and forth there in ZB, and the level 2 and ZF is flipping back and forth because of it. It's pulled a little bit. Okay, that's a little more like it there. That's not what we want to see. Don't like that over 3. There does not seem to be nearly as much interest here at 31.5. Okay, so it's flipped around and now the bid is over 3. Created a few buyers. Bitcoin looks poised to take another dive here. They might be faking it though. Sweet. When did I place that order? Placed at 6:23. So that took 40 minutes.
And just cash equity.
Well, there you have it. There was more than a tick in it, wasn't there? Bum ba dum ba dum. There you go.
Well, we are hearing that has cleared Apple's purchase.
Apple is gonna buy Shazam? That's interesting. Okay, the 5-year is looking a little thick there. That was a crocodile. It's fun when it happens. Boom, boom, boom. Let's read this article that Alligator posted in the crypto room. Well, if you took it, if I had held it, and now that it's gone back and forth there at 10 a few times, you would want to take the 1, 2, 3. Take the 3. Fib futures what the blue/red lines on chart are.
Just in FX, we are hearing from Goldman Sachs saying failure to reach Brexit deal would lead to a sharp drop in sterling.
Yeah.
The base case is that the pound is fairly valued.
Interesting. Shazam is still a thing. Yeah, right? Looks like I need to moderate some here. That's interesting. Look at this. So somebody tweeted something, and they were like, hey, look, here's an email and everything for cryptos, and then all these people replied to it like fake accounts. I see Gabriel commented on that one. Oh. We should I'll leave that one.
In US news, here in Biden,
This one that was removed.
said up NATO payment.
Now there's stuff on r/politics about people suspecting that it's Mike Pence. It's like the number 2 story, right behind Ted Cruz falsely says Beto O'Rourke said he was grateful for U.S. flag burners. Yeah, good old Ted Cruz rat fucking as usual. I don't think the truth behind that quote is much better though. Let's read it. This is really interesting action. does, I want to go in here and make sure I'm saying this right. The way that this second chart is done. So I know that when you see more red here, it means that absorption is happening, but I want to see the specifics of how it's calculated. They call it the flip chart, I think is what it's called. So it uses these stacking and pulling to say whether it's bearish or bullish. So because the bids are pulling for the most part, it becomes bearish, I believe, because the bids are getting out of the way. This is a really awful action, isn't it? Like, let me just come back over here. So here's where we started. Okay. Yeah, you know what? I don't know why. Oh yeah, no, it's correct. So here's where we started. We moved up. I missed that move. It came back. Okay, finally that's where we got filled and we took one. It went up, it failed to make a new high, and now it's back. It's back over here again. Just unbelievable. Like, this kind of chop is not normal for the 10-year. Like, normally we would normally we just move in straight lines and then maybe we range around in a range and then we come up, but to just kind of chop around through the initial range is really weird. Like, look at this one in comparison. There's a move, there's a move. Okay, we're balanced. I guess it's in such a small range that you could just say that we're balanced here, but I don't know. It seems this is kind of more like what the 30-year would do that I always hated. This is why I stopped trading the 30-year, because you would come down here and you'd be like, oh, okay, this is a buy location, and then it would go past it and then it would reverse, and then it was always like, okay, higher low, lower low. That sort of a thing. Well, I guess they kind of did it here, right? Like, there's a higher low, but then there's a lower low. And it just never quite does the thing. It just does enough to stop people out and screw you over. Yeah, this is pretty shit action. Yeah, I don't. So I think at this point, there you go. You're welcome, Fib. I think at this point you definitely want to trade the range-bound strategies. Turns out he uses it a lot. The gotcha questions in the cafe hearings are funny.
Action Mexico's econ. After when? Till Canada.
That's not good. Canada just needs to get on with it. Maybe I'm crazy, but I just think this, what is it called? Article 19, dispute resolution is a dumb thing for the Canadians to be stuck up on. Because it doesn't work. Like, companies take trade disputes to it and everything, and the disputes don't get resolved. Like, nobody's happy with it. And I would have thought that people would come together and say, oh, well, let's come up with a better system to resolve disputes that the Canadians could be happy with, because they just don't want to, they're afraid of leaving things to the U.S. courts. Right? They're afraid that somebody breaks the rule and the U.S. court says that they're not breaking the rule, and that's what they're worried about, right? And that's what's holding up Canada from signing on. I just think it's a bad hill to die on. Yeah, I think that we could get some movement after the E-mini opens. I'm guessing, though, given that Treasuries are being pretty weird, I'm going to guess that the E-mini is not going to move a ton either. Or not ADP, it's non-farm. Well done. Kavanaugh, when he asked, were both sides to blame for Charlottesville? Whether there was blame on both sides? Well, there is. I mean, both sides were violent. It's unquestionable, but it's a gotcha question, right? Because they're trying to trick you into placidly not denouncing white supremacy, which is obviously very awful. Nobody likes white supremacy, and it's a bad thing for the country. So And then what he responded with was, one of the principles I've articulated throughout this hearing is the independence of the judiciary, and one of the things judges do is stay out of current events, out of commenting on current events, because it risks confusion about what our role is. We are judges who decide cases in controversy. We are not pundits. We don't comment on our current events. Did you hear that, Ruth? Huh? We're not pundits. Anyways, I think it looks to me like he's going to get confirmed. He's saying the right things. Bond looks bullish. Well, I'd have to say Treasuries look bullish. Okay, here comes the E-mini open. Let's minimize Bitcoin, as they're still not going. Yeah, so no significant pushes right off of the open. So they're going to just trade back and forth, so it looks like the bears are going to take their turn first. Okay. Big order moved up in the 5-year. There's now 4K at 08. Here is Prashant Kavanaugh asking if he was saying the question was too difficult to answer. God, good grief. Alright, there's the bull move. Both sides look somewhat weak. I think that if the cumulative delta is going to go back up to 760, though, I think we would have to bust through that. Let's see. Okay. ate up through that one quick. So the balls look a lot stronger. Oh. Sorry guys, that was like an awful yawn. The balls look a lot stronger on their push, don't they?
US data, the market final reading. Alongside that, we also get the market PMI as a final reading again for all. No estimate prior of.
Oh, well, you know, they're going up again. And there's the selling more than overwhelmed the buying. That was pretty fast. They went through it, but they didn't stay above it very long, did they? So that looks really negative. The NFL starts tonight?
Year testing that weekly VWAP again.
Well, they are getting back up there. I have to say, like, I didn't take it or anything, but there was definitely a case to be made to just be buying here and selling here. Or maybe at 10 or 01 rather. So who has denied top officials?
And just a heads up, in under 3 of the US, some US data, market services PMI final read for August. No estimates, but we have a prior of 5 by this market services. Market composite PMI final. No estimate. The release, I will go with the services reading first. And
Okay, so Mike Pence has denied that he is the administration official. Pence's communications director Jared Agin tweeted, "The vice president puts his name on his op-eds. The New York Times should be ashamed, and so should the person who wrote the false, illogical, and gutless op-ed. Our office is above such amateur acts." Okay. I wonder if you fade it here. I would not be making that bet. I wouldn't want to be going against the... No thanks. Well, some absorption there at 10, so they might be ready to go through it this time. Hmm.
1 minute.
So the news here is non-manufacturing PMI. Oh, we've got an FOMC member speaking today too. That would definitely explain why it's so quiet. Well, the E-mini hasn't done anything too dramatic yet. So we get final services PMI here in a minute, and then at the top of the hour we got non-manufacturing.
10 seconds.
It's interesting that we've been popping up here, but that
Services,
the offers have been higher.
8, composite, 54, got 7.
Okay, so under expectation slightly. It's 54.8 versus an expected 55.2. So it was about 0.4 under expectations. Which is within the margin of what is normal for this particular stat. So no big deal. Cool. Iger's still in his long trade. It's been 3 days now. Bum, 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 ba-dum. Ew. So put it up here.
Trying to short here at 09 on.
Well, I say the volume still looks short to me. This is nothing compared to the buy that we had at the start of the session. I don't know. Still not in a spot to take, in my opinion. Pace of inflation softened to a 5-month low. The rate of job creation dipped to a 7-month low in August. Firms commonly reported difficulties finding suitable candidates. Could see that. can just see that in my own work, because we interviewed a bunch of people and we had trouble finding the people that we wanted. It seems like that for the most part, people with skills have found a job that they wanted, and they aren't necessarily going out and trying to find additional jobs, which they should be doing. People are just a little bit too comfortable. Yep.
From Guajardo saying that trade deal has no quotas, restrictions, export. Coming through. And just a reminder that at the top of the hour, we get more PMI numbers from the United States. This time it's the ISM, the Institute of Supply Management. These are August numbers for non-manufacturing, so the service sector. We're looking here for a figure of 56.8. That will be a slight acceleration from 55.7 seen. Also worth noting there that 50 plus. Also looking for ISM non-manufacturing business. We're looking at 56.9. Again, a slight pick up there from the 56.9. There are some more PMI breakdowns. We'll come to those in a moment. The other number after those PMIs, we've got also at the same time factory orders for July. US factory order month on month drop of 0.7%, which would be pretty much a reversal of the rise of 0.7% recorded back in June. Back to the ISM numbers, so you got also various index breakdowns. No forecast for any of these. We'll get non-manufacturing employment to be was last month. Like 7. The prices paid index 64. But say no forecast for. And coming back to the durable goods, transport buys what we no forecast. Previous month, June, 0.2%. Also worth highlighting that around about top of the hour, we're also getting comments from Fed's Williams. We'll be focusing on first.
Okay, well, I think I should take a break here before the numbers come out and, get some water and stuff. Because we might get some action after that.
So just a reminder that in 3 minutes' time we get data from the US. We'll be starting with the SM non-manufacturing for August, looking there for, and the non-manufacturing coming in 6 points there. We'll then focus on factory orders for a moment. The July drop of 6%.
Okay. So we still got this big order here. Oh, it's not as big. It was 4,000. It's still the biggest one on there.
Dollar at the moment. 7.
So I'm gonna look at these numbers here. So I think this FOMC member Williams is probably a bigger deal. But the ISM non-manufacturing purchasing managers index is expected 56.8. This number may become under expectation. So if it's good, I think you might see more selling.
1 minute to the data.
I'm always looking to see if the news contradicts, because you get more of a move that way. You're better off feeding the action into the news. Yep. Liquidity really pulled. Although the big ones are still there. People are buying into it on the E-mini.
58.5.
So it's a good number.
7, and the factory orders come in at minus 0.8%. So that's US ISM non-manufacturing PMI for August coming in at 58.5. And also a beat is the non-manufacturing business coming in at 60.7. Reminder there, the factory orders coming in as a miss at a drop of 0.8%. Looking at some of the other breakdowns on the ISM side, the employment index comes in at 56.7, new orders 60.4, and prices paid index is 62.8. Meanwhile, on the durable goods side, we've got the ex-transport durables in July up by 0.1%. And durables ex-defense coming in as minus 1%.
So I saw the potential for it to drive through the view out there. They weren't pushing 31, so I took it. Okay.
And the dollar index just a tad firmer there after the 5 spot.
So it's still pretty. I want to say balanced at 31.5.
There's a to factory month of June, they scaled back to 0.6%. They were previously reading 0.7% rise.
So I took it because it went through. But then it's come back up and now they're not going through it again, but they're still selling it. I don't know. Okay, a little bit of a suspicious pull there. E-mini kind of being a little wild here. It held again. That time they bought through 13.
An estimate here on for the UK economy. NISA, the think tank, estimates UK GDP is on track for a 0.5% quarter-on-quarter growth in the.
Okay, that was a much stronger downtick. That might encourage more people to come in. Come on. Okay, that one wasn't quite as good. But it is holding. not too convinced yet. Okay. Bit of pulling. Not so much selling at 31. Okay. Well, the 5-year is taking it. And there's an iceberg there. But it's this.
Trade war. Growth. Cent.
That would be bad. Business activity is markedly higher now that the government is in the fourth quarter of its fiscal year and agencies need to obligate their fiscal year 2018 funds. Many contracts expiring in this time frame require renewal. In the labor market, we have seen a noticeable increase in difficulty to attract and retain talent at all levels. We have begun taking steps to change compensation packages to combat this issue. Okay, well, I felt that that was worth the shot. But, you know, I'm not seeing what I want to see for sure. So, in fact, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. In fact, it's telling me I need to buy it, so. I wish I jumped on that pullback Seth did earlier. Seemed like the only opportunity so far. That's a possibility as well. Sometimes we come across days that aren't worth trading. Liquidity drops. Well, this news that we had there looked like it was pretty significant. I think that some people were holding off a lot of trade because of that. Now that the problem is that the news was good, and the E-mini reacted to it pretty positively when it happened, but has now come back. It seems like even though the news did affect things, that the risk off trade from trade war fears still appears to be dominant. Okay. So this is my zipper trade again. Okay, might be go too many times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Sucks. Is it gonna go without me?
Kind of political suggestion.
Man, why am I having... Okay, there we go. Bum, 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 ba-dum. Yeah, this is just chop. But I think it's really weird that there's been so many icebergs at 31.5. You would not have gotten filled at 0.05 yet. Backtesting says you get it. Okay. So just to review what happened there, I saw the signal and I got the long. It needs to go before it's been 15 ticks. After that, it becomes random. So when it came down and then pushed back up again, and I saw that the bid wasn't strong, I had to take it off. So I took it off, and as soon as I took it off, they went. Now they did fill you at 0.5, so that's your 80% one, and then the one, which they've just rushed, is 60%. I mean, it doesn't qualify for the trade, but that's kind of the probabilities that it tends to do if it goes. So now you've gotten the 3 ticks But yeah, I would say this is just poor action in general, and I'm a little skeptical. This is where it came up to last time. Well, okay, so it's already ticking through. So it's to the 15.
Some reports coming through from BuzzFeed saying cabinet ministers they are plotting for a harder Brexit, a third way. Theresa May's Chequers plan fails.
So I mean, we are seeing now the stacking at 11 in ZB. I'm kind of looking to see if they're going to give us a short here. Oh, the E-mini definitely dumped after that. That's kind of interesting. So it didn't go. It's come back a tick, but it's not showing me anything that looks like terribly, other than that the volume is up. So it doesn't justify a fade trade, but I'm not so sure that I could take a long there either, although it's possible that they break through now. It just doesn't seem like they've got enough breaks above us to stop it if they go for it. Oh yeah, I can see the yen is moving up as well. Quite significantly. See, 51 is just a really low number to be having up at the high. Jack saying bye, Seth. Yeah. Well, the thing that was funny about it was that as the signal that the indicator gave me, not the indicator, but the strategy gave me like you need to scratch this signal, and the level 2 was kind of showing me still like weird. So I took it. I mean, I did what the strategy says. But it sure feels like, I wish I had just held it, you know? Because almost as soon as I took it off, they ticked up, and then it was good to go, you know? Then I could have held it. Then I could have said, oh, okay. I think we'll get 3. And I would have gotten 3. So, well. Kind of did that same thing with the other one, wasn't it? We took the alligator, we bought it. And, only wanted to tick off of it, but it went all the way back up to the highs. That one we could have, I could have chosen to just hold that one, but it's been so rangy, I don't want to push it, you know? Oh, now Jack is saying bye. I do think they could bust through the highs here because there's really nothing on in the level 2. Well, it doesn't fit now because the risk reward. Let me go. Sure looks like it's gonna go to me. E-mini may be turning around though. Let me show you guys this.
Just a reminder that today, of course, at 4 p.m., so at the top of the hour, we'll public holiday states on today. Natural gas storage change figure, which is normally printed a day after. So that's coming out at the bottom of the hour, so in about 7 minutes' time. As ever, no forecast, but a week ago it came at 70 BCF.
sure is churning.
So it's 3 minutes then to the bottom of the hour and the natural gas storage change figure.
Okay. I'll take it. So there could be a lot more to that move, but I only wanted to take it to the other side of this volume profile.
Inside 1 minute now to the natural gas storage change figure.
And I didn't, I probably could have gotten a little bit more, but I wanted the even number. So, you know what? I'll take it. It was a rough day.
BCF for natural gas from 70 BCF a
Okay. So I'm going to do the, I realized something. I hadn't been journaling things very well. I think I kind of had some tilty days, and so I didn't do it.
That's picking up a little back of that number.
on this one that I took a winner on, I wanted to say, oh, and you know, I don't have a thing made for it. Tools, trade type. We need to make a new one, create. Crocodile, there we go.
We've seen our US natural gas futures appearing losses slightly down 0.1% after EIA reports storage build in line with estimates.
Okay. Oh, I should move this over so you can see what I'm doing. Okay. So, did I follow my plan? Yes. Yes. I was kind of a little nervous. But yeah. So I'll save that one. And then I only want the ones that were from today. See, there's this huge queue. Oh, here it is, this one right here. Okay, I followed my plan. I don't know if I reacted well to market behavior or not, but I didn't like it. Oh no, I liked it, but I didn't like the exit. I'm not gonna say it was a good trade. So why not just stick to the E-mini trades? So let's look at that. Okay, hold on a second. Save this one. Okay, and this one's were just kind of like, oh, okay. Okay.
They're due to stay at 1:30 Eastern time, so that's 6:30 p.m.
So I don't know what that one fits under, but oh yeah, this one right here was did I put the yeah I don't have one for that either. I thought that I did. Or tools, trade type. This one is a zipper. Edit the column and make it a zipper. Okay, save. Okay, so I have to pull this over here for a second while I do. Oops. Well, that was not what I wanted. Okay, you guys liked that E-mini one, huh? I have to say that was just about perfect. I don't know what he was talking about on the squawk before it died. Sorry, guys, but I don't see anything on Twitter about it, so I don't think it was a huge deal. Okay, so I have to hide this for just a second while I pull it up. Dashboard. Okay, and if I come all the way back, let's just try that. to now, what is it? September. First week of September. Apply. No. 2017. Come on. Sorry, I'm having a hard time getting the dates correct here. Okay. And now, this only. Gotcha. I just want to make sure. Okay. So here are the E-mini trades. Oh, come on. Okay. I was like, you're not gonna make me do that over again, are you? So here's me taking trades in the E-mini. So there was one day, this day right here, 2/14. I saw a read in the E-mini based on the cumulative delta that it was moving up and the cumulative delta was selling, and they pushed up against it all the way into the close, and I fought it the whole way. So yeah. But beyond that, they've been profitable, right? So if we change the date to be like just from March until now. Okay. So we haven't taken a ton of trades, right? So now this is where I have to scroll down here. Yeah. Like that. Okay. So I've made, let's see, what have I done? I've made, how many trades? Oh, 39 trades in the E-mini? Have I really made that many? Well, so maybe that is enough to say. But you notice that I don't have a super great win rate on it yet. So, you know, especially some of these were bad. So, I mean, it shows some promise, but it's not a for sure thing. That makes sense. The other thing you keep in mind, though, I mean, I've been changing it up. Like this one recently is like, okay, I saw absorption there. I bought it. I'm not expecting it to break out. I just want to see it come back to here. So I did it, and because I've gotten more conservative about it, it's been better. Because when I've done it before, it's like, oh, this is going to reverse. I want to buy it here, and I want to see it come all the way back up to the top. So, yeah, I'm getting better at the E-mini. I think, just personally, I'll take this in the channel too, but then I've got to go because I got to post the Bitcoin charts and stuff. To me, I think there's more money in trading the E-mini, but it's a little bit less consistent. I think it takes a little bit more skill. I don't know, like the thing with the E-mini is that you can get these runs that are just crazy, and that's great if it's in your favor, but if it's not in your favor, the slippage can be really, really bad, right? So that's where the E-mini will screw you over. So it's kind of like, I think it's a little bit easier to find a winning trade in the E-mini because of the way that it ranges. You know, it's really easy to see the range and catch it on the range, and you'll win most of the time doing that. And then it's all about having enough edge to avoid the awful getting stopped out. So that's where I kind of feel like in some respects it might be a little bit easier to become profitable in the E-mini, but it also takes a lot of skill in the E-mini. And I would recommend, if you were going to do this, to you know, trade treasuries for a while and find some success in treasuries, and then go over to the E-mini. And honestly, I'm only taking these because I can see the confluence across the markets, right? Like I could see there was absorption in the E-mini. There was a big volume spike. It looks like the E-mini wants to turn around, and treasuries are also in a spot that they could turn around and are looking like they could maybe turn. And so I said, okay, yeah, this is the spot where you could probably take a bit out of the range. But now you can see ultimately it didn't reverse. So, but enough about the E-mini. I thought I traded really well today. Like this one, okay, the crocodile is always fun, and I traded that one correctly. This one, the zipper trade, I traded that one correctly. I didn't get a profit out of it. Oh no, wait, that wasn't that one. It was like this one, right? I didn't get a profit out of it. I had to scratch it, and it did go afterwards, but I stuck to the plan, and that's what matters. And that it went kind of means that it was still good, so I'm happy about that. That one's still working really well. And you know, these two off of the news, this one I think was really, really good because I saw that it wasn't going and I got out. And same with this one, you know, I saw that it wasn't going, so I got out. This one, you know, maybe I should have held that one, but oh, that was the zipper trade, so. But both of these ones, this one and this one, both were worth 3 to 4 ticks. So yeah, yen on the warpath. Look at it. Yeah, it is. So this is, can I say also, I'm yapping. I just keep going. John Grady calls E-mini crack for traders. Absolutely. It's absolutely. I just call it, I used to just call it trading crack, but nobody understood what I was talking about, so now we call it spoos and stuff. So this is something that really confuses me, and some people say, you know, maybe you're better off trading like the small instruments on the exchange, like the micro currencies, and this is why I say no. So look at that. They've sold it well over 1,600 contracts all morning, and it has done nothing but go up. Like, what the heck? Doesn't make any sense to me. I don't know if that's because they're just hedging or what. So yeah, so we are making quite a bit of a long move now. So that's really interesting. But I still think I traded this right. I mean, up until now, it's been super dead and really awful trading. So, you know, whatever. Somebody definitely was absorbing their up down at 31.5, huh? Fighting us. So, well, okay, now we're getting some real absorption. You know, I'm going to let this run for a little bit because I can, you know, type up my cryptocurrency notes because this is getting interesting.
Weird, the 30-year just won't trade above yesterday's high. Sure, it will eventually, but it, for whatever reason, even though the gas broke even more, buyers just quit buying it.
Yeah, well, the way that played out in equities was kind of weird too. It's just like giving up for no reason. I think there might be some news that I'm not privy to. Definitely trade war stuff. Okay, so I don't know what I just need to pop back in here. Mattis did not write op-ed. Williams is saying stuff. I kind of want to see what was more like 30 minutes ago, though.
Says does not see significant risk from emerging markets. There are always risks.
Okay, well, this is where I gotta step away, but that was nuts. And it sucks to be out of that, but you know, I don't really like taking trades after 8:30 unless I'm already in it, so that will just happen sometimes because there's absolutely no edge to which way it's gonna go, right? Yeah, I already see people dropping off, so it is time for me to go. I hope you guys make money off of this. I don't know if this is a crazy move, so I don't know what to make of it, especially without having a clear idea of what the news is.
Paul from Williams says that while asset valuations are high, not signs that it is fueling the economy.
You know, when you have an impulsive move like that, there's always a really good chance that it's going to come back on you, or it increases the chance of it coming back on you. But
Williams says that households and businesses are being cautious about spending, not taking too much risk.
I'm not quite sure what it is that he said or that is happening that made them do it, and so it's hard to judge if the move was actually justified or if it was overdone, you know? If we get a lower high, then maybe we fade it. I don't know. Anyways, I will talk to you guys tomorrow for non-farms. It should be fun.